Today on GC360.
Our top story. A new type of printer is bringing things to life and putting Georgia College ahead in on-campus technology.
And speaking of staying ahead of the game, we are giving you a story about the college competitive lifestyle that has developed over the last few decades.
Plus, have you noticed anything different around campus buildings? We're giving you a look at the new additions that happened over spring break.
All that and more right now on GC360.
Hello and welcome to GC360. I'm Taylor Weldon.
And I'm Justin Peacock. Thanks for joining us. A 3D printer has made its debut into the Georgia College Library. This piece of advanced technology might even be the subject of a brand new class offered at Georgia College. The idea is to give students an opportunity to be creative and produce whatever they want, whenever they need it, all in 3D. Emil Ellerud reports.
It was late, 7 weeks late, and when it finally arrived, it was greeted as a hero.
3D, 3D, 3D.
The construction of its platform began immediately. Some problems occurred, but no one was worried when something broke. They said they could always print the broken part again in the 3D printer.
Said it would be here 7 weeks ago, and when it got here, even though I thought I was just going to dread the moment, I was like, oh, it's finally here. I was just mind blown. I've spent all this week doing nothing but trying to 3D print. I've even not worked, but still sat here at the 3D printer because I want to see things printed.
The possibilities for 3D printing are exponential. Prototypes in plastic are just the basics. The first 3D printed human organ is expected this year, a liver. The library's 3D printer will keep to the basics, but with a precision which could reach 1/10 of a millimeter. The Corinthian column was printed as a test of the printer's precision.
It's not the best, but it is pretty fantastic, and there's a lot of the details that are on there that we had in the 3D software, which is what we were hoping to see.
First up on the column is Thunder's head. A scanner device allows the students to make a detailed computer model of any scanned object. Printing will be charged per gram, but it is free this spring. Thunder's head will soon be replaced by the head of a student who will get busted in the library. Reporting for GC360, this is Emil Ellerud.
The Division of Information Technology is now offering Microsoft Office 365 to students for free. For all students interested, the Information Technology Department will also be providing free info sessions to help students download and install the software. These sessions will take place in room 119 in the library on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. through the whole month of April.
There's nothing quite like setting up a hammock, watching the river flow, having a picnic, walking along the nature trails, or reading a good book, or just sitting and thinking at the Milledgeville Greenway. We all love it. It's peaceful and the perfect getaway from daily chores and frustrations. Well, get ready for the perfect nature hideout to become even better after this recent phase of renovations is unveiled. Carolina Classens has a story.
The Greenway is a public park that offers the Milledgeville community a break from the average suburban scene and allows residents to enjoy nature. To encourage and raise awareness of preserving nature, the Oconee River Greenway organization has been renovating since last summer. I was able to get a tour of the trails and a sneak peek of what is to come. Phase 2 of the Greenway's renovation includes many new features, including an off-leash dog park divided for different-sized dogs, new lighted trails that run by the river, and a new boardwalk for added wetland access. The work done during Phase 2 will be open to the public May 17th at 10 a.m. with music, food, and entertainment. The Greenway was not always as lush and green as its name implies, and originally was a city dump site. The community, spearheaded by General Peter Boylan, made the Greenway what it is today. General Boylan and his staff made it clear that continued renovations are only possible through community support.
We do need to have volunteers here. We need people who care enough about this asset that's in the community that they take pride in it and are willing to assist in its care.
Phase 3 is still being discussed, but possible additions to the park include an amphitheater and a trail connecting to the Georgia College dorms and West Campus. Reporting for GC360, I'm Carolina Classens.
The Greenway isn't the only place in Milledgeville getting a makeover. You may have already noticed the new signs adorning the buildings of the Georgia College campus. Hillary Hunnings has the story on this new update.
New signs adorn Georgia College's campus. Their bold design has the campus talking.
Well, they're not my favorite design. I think they kind of are sort of cheesy, just because we have such a beautiful historical campus.
I talked to students who gave their opinions on the design.
I don't think it quite fits in with campus, but I think it looks, I mean, I could just not be used to them, but I think they look pretty good. I like it.
The new signs definitely are interesting. They kind of reminded me of like a sign that would be outside of a new cafe. A different style than the columns that Georgia College prides themselves on, and the classic style that Georgia College prides themselves on.
A Georgia College art professor even shared her professional artistic opinion and her questions about funding.
I really like the designs and I really like the signs. I think that they're long overdue. They are uniformly attached to the ground, and I think they'll be fairly stable. But they're very classically designed, so that the design is not obtrusive at all. And what I also really like about them, that I noticed that in driving by at night, you can really see them. Also very interested in knowing the cost of them. I'd like more transparency about the cost and who paid for them and where the money came from. But in general, I'm really pleased with them.
This new addition to our campus has certainly caught the eye of students and faculty alike. Look for more information on next week's show. This has been Hillary Hunnings for GC360.
Justin, I did not get to go to Sounds of the South. I am so upset about it. I read who knows how many tweets about how great it was, but make me jealous and tell me what happened.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a case of FOMO, Sounds of the South. I actually had a great time. A lot of my friends' bands played, and I'm a sucker for live music, good friends and good times. So, it was a good weekend. Had some friends come in from out of town, and just really got to enjoy, the Sounds of the South atmosphere that Georgia College students really put a lot of work into, and it was nice to see it pay off. Speaking of, when we come back, we find out what it takes to become rap stars in Milledgeville. We'll be right back with more news on GC360. Please, don't go anywhere.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome home, man.
Time changes everything, even Georgia College. Suzanne Pittman looks for ways to make students fall in love with the campus. She did not plan to stay, but she fell in love with the college herself. Our reporter, Emil Hellerud, met with Miss Pittman to get the story.
Suzanne Pittman has worked on Georgia College for 25 years. She has seen the soul of Georgia College transform. When she was hired, the campus was something different.
We recruited students from the local area mainly. We were a university that tried to be everything to all people.
But in 1996, the mission changed, and so did Georgia College. The foundation of the education changed as the campus became the designated Georgia's public liberal arts university. Georgia College entered a new arena, entered alongside the University of Georgia and Georgia Tech to compete for students.
We were trying to provide the same experience that students were getting from a private liberal arts college, but we were doing it at the cost of public education. So that became very popular within the state of Georgia. And so we saw our applications increase, we saw the quality of our students increase.
Now, Georgia College started to take notice of other things than grades. It looked for students with special talents. It began looking for promising freshmen. The goal, to make a student more than a number, to make students contribute to the Georgia College experience.
So not only were students learning in the classroom, but they were learning in the residence halls when they were with their other peer students. In the dining hall, they were having meaningful conversations with faculty or other students also. And so just the experience of experiencing everything on campus at all times of the day and evening added to the experience they were having here. High school students change so much that, you can't, a strategy that works today won't work in 5 years because
Georgia College continues to change. The number of students won't increase, but the college will recruit outside Georgia. It wants a national representation in classes. That's the next step. Reporting for GC360, this is Emil Hellerud.
By whom and why? Don't forget that the homecoming concert has been rescheduled for tomorrow night, Wednesday, April 9th in the Centennial Center. The concert had originally been canceled because of the inclement weather, but Travis Porter, Ben Rector, and some of our very own Georgia College students and bands will be performing in GC Jam Fest 2014. Doors open at 6 and the show begins at 7 p.m. Students must present their Bobcat cards to pick up their free tickets at the Den, and tickets for the public are $25. Tickets are available for pickup from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. at the Den today and tomorrow. And speaking of the Travis Porter concert, we have Mark Magamian joining us on set. Marky, thanks for bringing on the show today.
No problem, Justin. Good to be here.
Yeah, so Mark, how did this petition start and by whom and why?
Oh, well, it started by Senator Seth Patterson, and it started after our homecoming concert got originally canceled. People went to look at the lyrics and the songs of Travis Porter, and they realized that it did not represent what our Georgia College community is all about, which is the 3 R's of reason, respect, and responsibility. And after looking at the lyrics, we realized that that does not go with what we on our campus want to, have and derive from it. So after that, he started the petition to try to get people to support what we really want to on campus, which is equality.
Okay, and I understand Georgia College, kind of brings content in that reduces the explicit lyrics and content, and, it kind of brings a radio edit, and you don't feel like that's enough?
No, I can understand that they're still stuck within their contract, but the problem with the matter is that editing a song that is as perverse as Travis Porter's won't really get rid of the message. The message will still stand there even with certain edits of perversive language or derogatory terms. So it's just like a movie that you would see on TV that's rated R, what's still being said in context, even though it's not really being said.
Okay, and so why do you think it took the show to be canceled to finally, everyone to take a second look? Why don't you think this petition was started when we were looking for people to bring to Georgia College to play for us?
I don't think people really looked at their lyrics or their songs as deeply during the time we had other homecoming festivities going on. There is the whole hype of having snow, which we never have here. So a lot of things got overlooked, and then after that, I think people realizing that there was going to be a rescheduling the concert went to go listen to them more, and they kind of realized that. And I know a lot of other people were really more excited about Ben Rector coming here first, so it was kind of like overlooked at first.
So Ben Rector and some of the other bands, they don't have the explicit content that Travis Porter brings to the show?
I don't know as much about Ben Rector. I know for the Hayes and Seven Hand Circus, not as much. They might have something, but it's not as profound and up in your face as something like Travis Porter, where if you just look at the titles of their songs, it's already right there, their message, which is not good.
I hate to do this to you, Mark, but what do you think about Childish Gambino coming then?
I love him. He's a great person. I would not have him represent our school, but it's something that, you can have your own taste and everything, but don't have that represent as the whole sort of school body.
I understand. And Mark, thank you again for coming on the show,
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Well, there's a new rap group in town, and they go by the name of SoCo, and they are in it for the long haul.
SoCo.
GC360's Callie Wiley has a story.
SoCo is a rap group comprised of 3 brothers, one of which is a senior broadcast student here at Georgia College, Michael Cornwall. Cornwall and his brother, Scott, didn't originally see themselves as rappers.
Really, rap has been this is where we found ourselves with music. We started off in classic rock, we both played instruments, multiple other bands, and I don't even know how we ended up on rap.
What started out as a joke has quickly turned into a successful hobby for the three brothers.
Okay, it started off as like comedy songs, right. I would say.
Yeah, we would do a bunch of different comedy stuff, like video raps and different things like that, and then I think we kind of realized that we were good.
While they've tried expanding their group, they found that keeping it in the family is the key to their success.
We both write our verses apart from each other, but then we'll like come together on the chorus.
Go over it,
yeah.
It'll be like, somewhere I'm hearing your verse, and then it'll inspire my verse, and they'll still be completely different. And that's what I do think it's a chemistry thing.
SoCo is currently unsigned. However, they are more than willing to pursue a future career in music should the right opportunity arise.
If it turned into a career, we'd both take off with it.
And we both would pursue it
as a career.
Yeah.
But right now it's more of a hobby. But when we put out the mixtape, I got good feedback. A couple bars downtown play the music. We're working with 97.7 right now, like trying to get it, around Milledgeville area.
Make sure to check out SoCo Music on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Reporting for GC360 News, I'm Callie Wiley.
Well, Taylor, looks like you may have missed the end of Greek Week and Sounds of South this weekend, and I tell you what,
it was a bad combination of things to miss.
You got to do what you got to do sometimes, and I hate to say it, but it feels good to win again. It really does.
I'm sure.
Everyone puts in the hard work, and you see all, I'm just proud.
I've been seeing everybody practice for a while now, and my sorority came in third, represent Zeta, but I'm proud of yours, and everybody tried hard, so it was a fun week.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you.
We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, Nick and Joby will give us a rundown of the GC sports and the results from Greek Week. Stay tuned.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all working with United Way for a million little reasons. The kids of our communities. To ensure their academic success all the way to graduation day. You see, it takes about 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a kid becoming one or the other could be a professional athlete, or it could be you. Studies showed the earlier we get to kids, the better their chances. So become a United Way volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, and make a difference in the life of a child, for the life of that child. Give.
Advocate.
Volunteer. Live united. Join your favorite NFL players. Take the pledge. Go to unitedway.org.
Welcome back to GC360. I'm Nick Landon.
And I'm Joby Peoples. Last night concluded the exciting events of March Madness with a game between two classic basketball superpowers, the University of Kentucky and the University of Connecticut.
That's right. The UConn Huskies came out on top 60-54 over the Wildcats. The Huskies got ahead quickly, but Kentucky managed to close the gap with a strong late performance by freshman forward Julius Randle, who had 4 points in the final minute of the half, putting the Cats within reach of winning the game. However, the Huskies' early onslaught proved to be too much for the young Wildcat team.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, the entire Wildcat team is freshmen. The
That
starting
is
line,
correct.
right?
Yeah, the whole starting lineup is a group
That's
of freshmen.
crazy.
Really impressive stuff, especially with the talent you get from guys like Randall. It's going to be an exciting season for them next semester or next year.
Absolutely.
Next
Well,
season.
in other news, the MLB is in full swing now, and we're beginning week 2 of the baseball season. The Braves are currently 4-2, with Freddie Freeman leading the team in the batting average with a 4-21. Now, this is a little skewed because we're only 6 games into the season, but it may be a good indication of things to come from Freeman this season and throughout his contract with the Atlanta Ball Club.
More baseball for you. The Georgia College Bobcats are ranked 12th in Division II baseball nationwide and hold a 26-7 record, sitting at 3rd place in the Peach Belt Conference. This Friday, the Bobcats will be in South Carolina facing off against the number 2 team in the nation, Lander University. After that, you can catch them at home Wednesday at 5 against Valdosta State University.
Now, the guys aren't the only ones who have been getting things done in the Diamond. The Bobcats softball team boasts a 31-11 record, one of 2 teams in the Peach Belt to reach 30 games this season. The Bobcats are currently 4th in the Peach Belt and will be facing off against Columbus State this Wednesday in a doubleheader with games at 5 and 7.
And now that Greek Week is officially over, as of Friday night when the final placements were announced, the last event of the week, Tug, was held Friday afternoon. Tug is an event where ruts are dug into the ground, which participants sit down in for a 10-minute tug of war. There was a new edge brought to the Tug team this year. There is usually a weight limit for each team. Players spend months dropping weight and building muscle to put the most people on the line that they possibly can. This year, the rules changed and the weight limit was taken away. Now there is only a 12-person limit on the line for each team at a time.
Kappa Delta sorority and Brothers of the Kappa Alpha Order rose to the challenge and pulled their teams to victory. Both the sorority and the fraternity are reigning champions from the previous year. The winners of the step show were held until Friday night's awards ceremony, and the Alpha Delta Pi sorority came out on top as the step show champions this year with their jigsaw-themed step show. The ladies of 80 Pi dressed up as the characters from the Saw movies, complete with fierce face paint and intimidating dance moves that stole the judges' hearts and creativity and originality. Overall Greek Week winners were Alpha Delta Pi and Delta Sigma Phi. Congratulations to the Greeks on a successful and entertaining Greek Week.
Now, of course, there is a lot of training involved with getting ready for Greek Week, especially if you want to win out in the more physical competitions like tug and flag football. Luckily, we have a newly constructed state-of-the-art wellness and recreation center here at Georgia College, readily available to all students. However, several students are still choosing to pay for gym memberships at local gyms.
Hi, I'm Jerry Osborne with everything you need to know about entertainment at Georgia College. One of Milledgeville's newest events was a hit this past weekend. That's right, Sounds of the South took off running Friday night and went well into Saturday, as bands from near and far filled downtown bars with their unique sounds. GC360's very own Scott Carranza takes us behind the scenes.
Drums and guitar riffs filled the streets on April 6th and 7th as the annual Sounds of the South Festival filled the night with music. More than 20 bands performed at various restaurants in downtown Milledgeville over the two-day event, providing the crowd with a variety of music choices. One of those bands was the Electric Suns, a duo of students from Savannah College of Art and Design. The group performed songs from their latest album, Chromesthesia, and spoke with me about preparing for the night's performance.
We're really big music fans, I think, first and foremost. So when we listen to stuff, that's what gets us inspired. Hearing other people who make songs that are just genuinely great and they have cool textures and the songs are about really, potent things. That's what makes us want to go into the studio and write, something that feels like that or that gets us just as excited about something we hear.
Yeah, there's something that's kind of have this insatiable desire to create, especially music. Like for me, writing-wise, there's nothing better than kind of hitting that one thing that really says what I'm trying to say.
Other bands in the set list included the Kinky Aphrodisiacs, Fall Line, and the recent Battle of the Bands winner, The Haze. Various downtown restaurants each contributed $200 to pack their space full of different bands throughout the evenings. Bracelets were sold earlier in the week for the festival. Around 15 students, led by SGA Senator Gina Weber, roped in all the bands they could get and pushed promotions throughout the weeks leading up to the festival. Weber started booking in January and snagged 22 bands for the festival's lineup.
We have 100% student-led effort. We have 15 people behind this whole entire thing. All of us are full-time Georgia College students. You know, we have marketing majors, mass comm majors, biology majors. Like, we got it all covered. You know, we have people on different committees, but you know, last year and the year before, it was like one person planning it all. This year, with all the help, it's been absolutely incredible, and like everyone's just having a good time. I'm not stressing out. No one else is stressing out, so it's great. It's been great.
After counting the admissions, more than $8,000 was raised, said SGA President Victoria Faree. In an effort to help out Milledgeville's economic state, the Sounds of the South staff decided to donate 10% of the profits to Central State's redevelopment program. The festival was a huge success when compared to last year's income of just a little more than $1,000. The rest of the money will go towards growing next year's Sounds of the South festival. In the future, the group plans on getting more bands for next year.
Sounds of the South offered a variety of genres for music lovers to choose from. The turnout was large, the music was loud, and this anchor had an awesome night.
As they worked together to create completely original plays from scratch in just 24 hours, our reporter Drew Allen gives you the full story.
It was time once again for students to bust out the coffee and energy drinks to prepare for another fast-paced, hectic, and fatigue-ridden session of the 24-hour plays. The plays, originally conceptualized by former Georgia College professor Kathleen McGeever, have gone on annually for 11 years now, and this year they were headed by Jimmy and Iona Holder, as the two brought students and faculty together to take an exciting and sleep-deprived journey. The collaboration process itself is fairly simple. A play must be written, directed, and performed within a single day. The process starts on Friday night as student actors audition to be in one of the plays, as well as donate interesting costumes and props to assist with inspiration for the plays during the writing process. Immediately following the auditions, the playwrights, many of whom are students of the creative writing department, examine the actors, props, and costumes they have at their disposal, and stay up through the night developing their scripts until early Saturday morning. Next, the finished copies are entrusted to a handful of students from the theater department, who were tasked with bringing the scripts to life through their direction. The directors must then collect their actors and rehearse the scripts all day until 8 p.m. Saturday night, when the shows, ready or not, must perform at Max Noah Recital Hall. With the playwrights and directors finally able to let go and watch the actors steal the spotlight during the final performances, the collaborative experience comes to a close exactly 24 hours after it initially began. This has been Drew Allen with GC360 News.
Well, that's it for entertainment news this week. Back to you, Taylor and Justin.
Well, thank you, Jerry. Sorry for the delay there, folks. You know, since you weren't here this weekend, Taylor, what did you do? You missed Greek Week and Sounds of the South.
Okay, it's no Greek Week or Sounds of the South, but I had Mexican dinner, and I went to my boyfriend's baseball game.
Where's your boyfriend play?
UGA.
Oh, a Georgia boy. That's
game.
what get her. That's
UGA
what gets
versus
her.
Tech.
That's why she's breaking
We
my heart.
lost,
Whoa,
but-
that's actually all the time we had this week on GC360. I'm Justin Peacock.
And I'm Taylor Weldon. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.